Hello and welcome to my portfolio. I'm excited to highlight all the activities and hours that went into creating my practicum. We will start with the elementary level as that is my expertise. Activities that I participated in that a building principal would participate in are team meetings, leadership trainings, academic team, IEPs, Journey curriculum pilots and trainings, and shadowing an elementary principal. Team meetings are utilized as a two-way communication from myself to the administrator. I meet with my team. I am currently the third grade team lead once a week on Wednesdays, and we discuss any information that our building principal wants to share during that time. We also collaborate about lessons and units and different strategies and ways to make our students more successful. Leadership meetings are held once a month, and it is myself with other grade level team leads that meet with both the assistant principal and the building principal. We collaborate and we talk about what's going well and what we could improve on within our school and our grade level. Leadership meetings are utilized to share information and use as two-way communication from administrator to team leads. Our school services over 600 students, and it is almost impossible for our administrator to make it around to every classroom, and so she heavily utilizes her team leads to communicate. Leadership trainings happen once a year. It is 2 days worth of training, and we collaborate on the upcoming building schedule, the master schedule. We plan for in-service week. We plan for specials, and basically it's just a time of planning and collaborating for the upcoming school year. The one thing that I was impressed by when I became a part of the leadership team was that my building principal said right away that she couldn't do it all, and that great, it's kind of the old phrase, 2 heads are better than 1. And so we sit all day long and we collaborate and we prepare for what needs to be available and accessible at the beginning of the school year for the teachers. Academic team is one component of our ABC teams. Our ABC teams are academic, behavior, and culture. An academic team I am a member of, and it's made up of administration, data coaches, and one member from each grade level. I am the representation for the third grade. This particular team, our focus is on integrating and collaborating with all the other grade levels on what is going well and what needs to improve for each academic grade level. We also plan activities, literacy nights, math game nights for our students and families, and it's a way for us to see what each grade level is doing. IEP meetings. I currently am the general education teacher that services special education students. Excuse me. We call it CWC, class within a class, and I work closely with the special education teacher to make sure that a student's IEP is in place and that student is accurately being serviced. I sit in on meetings with the other members of the IEP team to reevaluate goals and to reevaluate students, whether they are ready to be written off of an IEP. This year, I am a part of the curriculum pilot within our district. It is titled Journeys, and right now it is being implemented within my classroom. However, I have attended many workshops and trainings outside of classroom time, and I have presented the curriculum to literacy work groups and community partners and district leadership in order to see if this curriculum is best for our district when adoption time comes in the spring of 2018. I spent a day shadowing my building principal. Her name is Heather Sports, and it was pretty interesting. As a team lead, I actually have a radio, so I hear a lot of what is going on as far as behaviors and recovery with students and different needs that need to be met throughout the day. However, what I did not see, what you do not hear and what you see is the back end of things. I was very impressed by her list of must-dos and need-to-dos. It's a list that she creates every week, and it usually is growing. She spends quite a bit of time on the phone with impromptu phone calls from parents or district members. There's a lot of planning that is involved in her day for the weeks ahead. What she mentioned was some days are better than others. Some days behaviors are higher than others depending on what is going on in the building, and she spends a lot of her time pulling students from classrooms and processing with them. I will now take you to my district hours that I completed. And the district hours are pretty exciting because these are usually by volunteer, or you have to be selected to be on a lot of these work groups or opportunities. And because of my leadership qualities that I have possessed as a third grade teacher, my building administrator has given me other opportunities to represent within the district. The first thing is Read to Succeed. This is an initiative that is partnered with the United Way. It focuses on helping children read at grade level by third grade, which is kind of my expertise. We are partnered with the United Way in this program, and it was started at Gardner Elementary, where I am a third grade teacher. My building administrator took on this initiative back in 2015. She presented information that said basically that students needed to read at grade level. Otherwise, there was some pretty scary statistics that were attached to it. After this was approved as an initiative, the United Way then said, okay, let's get started. And she handed myself and a few other colleagues a folder that said, let's make this happen. During the developmental stage in 2016, we were in contact with the president of the United Way. We established who would want to be in our schools as coaches. We established the guidelines for students that were needing coaches. They were needing help in accuracy first and then fluency, but they were not so severe that they needed Tier 3 intervention. These were more like Tier 2 students. We then partnered them up. We set up schedules and communication on days that coaches would come. When the district found out about what we were doing, they too wanted to have a hand in this, and the Read to Succeed program is now in 15 schools across USD 259. The president of the United Way has now presented this program and initiative at the National United Way panel in Florida back in the spring of 2017. I am now a coordinator, and I train the trainers, which often are data coaches, MTSS facilitators, and other third grade team leads to go and implement the program within their classrooms. The MTSS Behavior Work Group is a work group that I am very excited to be a part of. It's made up of teachers, administrators, data coaches, members from our leadership team, and we focus on creating solutions to behaviors that we see across the district at secondary and elementary levels. We work primarily out of Randy Sprick's Foundations books as well as his Champs books. We create PowerPoints and plans to help teachers and administrators to handle unique behaviors in their classrooms. Being a part of Dr. Thompson's strategic plan has been one of my greatest accomplishments so far in my teaching career. I have been able to collaborate with our new superintendent about what is going well within our building and what needs to improve. A part of her strategic plan when she took the role of the USD 259 superintendent was to listen, learn, and improvise. She is present in our building, she is present in our community and in our school district, and wants to hear what the teachers, what the administrators, she wants to hear everybody, the community members, the students, and she wants to then make change and make a positive difference. I will now highlight some of my secondary activities that I completed. I spent a day shadowing Sherman Paget. He is the head principal at North High School for USD 259. Sherman and I are also on the behavior work group, so I kind of asked him if I could come spend a day in his shoes, and he said absolutely. Some of the activities that I got to participate within that particular school day was assisting with the arrival and dismissal of students, monitoring passing period, meeting with the fire marshal, post-formal observation meetings, lunch monitoring, giving informal observations and evaluations on teachers, and meeting with the personal secretary, which is very vital to the role of a principal. The arrival and dismissal of students, I couldn't believe how important that was. A positive greeting is probably the most important thing that a student needs at any grade level, but making sure that they had their IDs was huge. Being present in the hallways was absolutely important. Passing period was another huge thing that I didn't realize would be so important within a school day for a building principal. We would literally be in the middle of a meeting and he would say, okay, it's time to go. And I'm like, where are we going? And he basically says, we have to go monitor the hallway. And this is critical to the success of a school day and in a high school, to make sure that there were not any fights, that the hallways weren't getting cluttered, that students felt safe. It was very interesting to see it all. The one thing that I thought was very impressive was the fire marshal meeting. The fire marshal from Sedgwick County showed up unannounced to speak with the principal, and he wanted to present an idea for a curriculum for a fire safety course. However, the funding that he would need for it would have to come out of another elective course that was currently in place in the school. And the principal, Mr. Paget, was very supportive of his idea. However, he told him that he would not take away one course to add in another. He said that he would need to find additional funds to make it happen and would support him in any avenue. It was very interesting seeing the presentation from the fire marshal, because usually the fire marshal is there to get you about what you're not doing right. But on this occasion, he was there to ask Mr. Paget for help in trying to implement this wonderful course that could serve students at the secondary level for their upcoming graduation and into the business world. I conducted an observation on 2 teachers, and I thought it was very interesting because while I know about the Marzano evaluation system that we use within our district, I hadn't actually used it at a secondary level. And so being able to look at what the teacher was doing, evaluate them, rate them, was pretty interesting, and it brought a lot of light onto what goes into evaluating teachers. The other thing was a principals meeting that does happen daily within the building. Principals, there are 5 at North High School, 1 head principal and 4 APs, and they all gather together on a daily basis to kind of keep each other in the loop. They have to talk about behaviors that they are handling, about parental issues, staff issues, and it's a way for communication to be spread with each other. Mr. Paget met with his personal secretary, which I thought was interesting because she is basically the voice of him. She helps him with his emails and letters and reminds him of meetings, and I thought it was very interesting how heavily he relies on that. When I was reflecting on his role as a secondary principal, I realized that he has to be in many places at one time, and it's almost impossible. But with the help of his secretary, he's able to have a successful day. Thank you for watching this. I was able to complete a lot of activities at every level, and I have learned a lot about what the realistic life and roles of a principal make. And that's the one thing that I walk away with after completing this comprehensive exam, is that